starts off with your character's name, obviously, where your character grew up, how many friends your character had, what do they eat for breakfast, what do they wear each day, what do they do on Tuesdays at noon, do they go to work, where do they work? It's everything, every question you could possibly ask. And these questions aren't necessarily answered in your script. You have to come up with the answers yourself. You have to develop a real person and make them, I mean, the character that I might have done, I mean, we talked about this earlier, my favorite cereal, cracker milk brand, but my character's favorite cereal could be Fruit Loops. You know what I mean? And that would make her a completely different person. And so it's really what DI is about is observing other people and taking what great resource we have, which is the ability to view others and view how they sit and how they look at me and how they, you know, look away, and take that and put that into character development. See what I mean? Any questions about that? No? Okay, cool. The book. So, a lot of you have worked with the book or heard me talk about the book. There's a whole lot to learn with book tech. Book tech is a technical thing. It's not, I mean, it's less of the fun stuff I like the hard stuff and realizing characters and becoming your character and all that jazz. It's more of the technicalities that you kind of have to go through in order to get into that. So, just to do a quick review, and this, again, differs from team to team, it differs regional differences, but I would say 89% of the pieces that are seen are done like this with book text. So you walk up the room, your index finger is in the beginning of your piece. Now, if you're competing in multiple events, you might have multiple pieces, in which case, find your piece before you walk up into the room. So say my piece starts here. I put my finger in there when I'm sitting down at my desk before they call me up. So I don't get to the front of the room and I'm like, oh, my note's here somewhere, guy. You know what I mean? It's just like not professional. What you really want to strive for is a very professional attitude throughout the whole thing. You can really tell, most of the times you can tell if a performer is going to be good within the first 30 seconds of their performance, within the teaser, which is why you have to make your teaser really, really awesome. You know, it has to be something that you really, really care about, because that's, I mean, people judge. We judge, obviously we have a person named Judge sitting in the room, so we all know judgment happens, and so we have to start out with a good first impression. So that's why book technicality is so important. So you're sitting at your desk, you find your piece, right? Finger in the book, ready to go, index finger, 3 fingers on one side, thumb on the other side, and you walk up, just at your side, casual, right? And you walk to the front of the room, and then all your competitors and friends will be in front of you. It's very exciting, it's very comfortable. And depending if it's your first tournament, you might be a little nervous, a little shaky. And then you'll look across the room, and this is called acknowledging the audience. You acknowledge the audience. So you look at everyone, you smile, you're happy to be here, you're happy to be performing. And the judge, I'm sure, has called you up already, so they'll either be writing down the last of your name and information, or they'll be ready to go. So unlike in high school where they ask questions as in, you know, judge is ready, we don't really do that so much. We kind of just make eye contact with their judge, and the judge themselves will say, whenever you're ready. So when they say that, that's, you know, you smile, good, I'm ready. You pick up your book, put it diagonally, like this, in front of you. What we do is 4 fingers in the front, 1 thing in the back, a thumb in the back, right? And then there are 3 steps. So it's up, right? And then what I like to do at this time is take a time to think about what I'm about to get into. In practice sessions, what helps, especially if a piece starts to get old, is to say each word extra slowly. Take as many pauses as you want to. You're not going to be doing it in performance, but for a practice session, obviously it'd be very long. Don't say a sentence until you know what it means. And once you have it in here, once you know what you want it to mean, or what you think the intention of the sentence is, then you can say it, and say it as slowly as you want to. It just kind of helps you really understand the literature, really understand what the character is saying. Because sometimes we'll memorize a piece or a program, and it'll just become like fluid, and it'll just float out of us, and you won't even think about what you're saying. You know, you'll think about the general subtext, the general message that's underneath it, but you won't think about the actual words. I mean, there have been countless times where I went back and read a section of poetry that I had cut. I read the whole thing, and I was like, whoa, that's what that means? You know, it's like a whole fresh, and it'll keep a piece fresh. Anyway, back to book stance. Sorry, took a little twig out to the left. We're going back in 3. Okay, good. So we're up here. This is first step, tension, I like to call it, and collecting your thoughts. And then we do what we call acknowledging the literature, which is kind of giving props to people who gave us literature, which is our tools. So it goes down like this. This is acknowledging the literature, where you just look at your book. It's very nice. Down like this. These are all very short. I'll give it to you in full later. And then there are 3 things that happen next. You open your book, you pop into character, and you change, and you start speaking. So book open, character pop, first word. Usually. I say usually because sometimes you might make the choice to have a pause as the first moment of your piece, which can absolutely happen. Say, I just saw a piece with a prisoner, right? And they were in a cell, and that's where the whole drama took place. One prisoner in a cell. So she actually started out down and then looked up, and she kind of just created her atmosphere. Didn't necessarily look at the audience yet, but just kind of took in where she was. And then it was a really cool choice to start with a pause, because it kind of gave us a sense of this scary place without her actually saying anything, So you could choose that, but most of the time, people, when you open the book, open the book, pop into character, first word, right? And it all goes very smoothly. It's all very quick. So, you go up, right? And the judge will say, whenever you're ready, thank you. Right, you don't say anything, just. I think the last words my husband said to me, see what I mean? Like, so it all goes very, very quickly. Are there any questions about book technicalities or how to go at that? Yes?
When you cut apart your piece and you put your play or what your dramatic work and piece together, how do you usually transition from one scene to another?
Oh, good question. Okay. So, like I said, we have our bodies, ourselves, and our books. So, we use our book for that, for the most part, traditionally. When you're going to change to a different scene, a different time, you turn a page. It's as simple as that. So, this scene ends like this. The next day, see what I mean? And then it's just one simple page turn where nothing is said. You just look at your book and turn the page. And that signifies passing of time. It's cool. It's cool, like little things, Like acting is totally, people get confused because they think, dramatic interpretation, totally like acting. It's completely different. Like, we don't have those resources. We don't have props and costumes and lights, and you can't really suspend disbelief. I mean, you guys are never going to believe that, I'm a medieval pirate. It's just, I don't have a hook. But I do have a book. Oh, I'm rhyming. Nice, I know. Thanks, guys. I do have a book, I have my body, I have my voice, and I have this. So, while we might not suspend disbelief as much as we do in theater, that's why it makes it all the more important to create realistic characters, so that we can suspend disbelief, so you can believe that I'm not necessarily Kathy today, I am Rose, or Gwendolyn, or whoever my character's name is. See what I mean? Cool. Awesome. There it is. So, good question about the passing of time. Any other questions about that jazz? No, character bios went through. Cool. When picking literature, there are a lot of great historical writings, you want to be wary of things that are overdone. For example, you wouldn't really want to do Romeo and Juliet as a duo unless you had like a whole new twist on it. Unless you could change my mind and and do it in a way that made me think differently about Shakespeare. You know what I mean? I mean, it's about proving a new point of view. It's about giving me a fresh new thesis that I haven't heard before. So be careful about picking pieces that are cliched, pieces that are in difficult language to understand, unless you can do it in a way that makes me understand. Like if you want to do like sonnets kind of writing, or and you can do Homer. If you want to